What's up, everybody? It's the homie Truth Teller, the street reporter. And a lot of people always say, Truth, why Chief Keef don't come back to Chicago no more? He don't like nobody in Iraq no more? Why he don't be in Oblock? Why he don't be on Normal no more? Why he don't hang with the goons no more? Did they run him out of town? Do he got a warrant? The police on him? People trying to hurt him? What is it? To be honest with you, I think it's a mixture of all that, to be honest with you. To be 100% honest, I think it's a little mix of everything I just named. But I do think it's other things that kind of push Keith to not come back to the city no more. To be honest with you, a lot of people didn't know nothing about Oblock, until Chief Keef became famous. I think Keith, made this neighborhood famous, in my opinion. Now it always been known as a place. Now, if you was out south, then you knew them old black boys ain't really play. You knew about that community. But I think the whole world really kind of jumped up on it when Keith started rapping these songs and shit about that community, to be honest with you. It's a lot of things happening to Chicago. Keith kind of brought the light to the drill culture. And don't get me wrong, we all know that people say Pac-Man created the drill, but I believe Chief Keef brought the spotlight, okay, to the drill. Without Keef, I don't think nobody would even realize that Pac-Man created the drill. I think Pac-Man watered it. I think Chief Keef was like the seeds and shit, in my opinion. Keef kind of blew up. He told the city, he told the stories about the city. People ain't really know about that street shit till Chief Keef was really telling it. We knew it was violence. We knew about the killings, but Keef kind of put a face to it. People started talking about dead rappers, started talking about grimy shit all on the internet. Chief Keef kind of brought a lot of that shit to the spotlight. People followed him because they seen him get rich. A lot of them young people said, shit, if Keef got rich talking like that, shit, imagine how rich I'm gonna get. And that's what I noticed in the rap game. A lot of people tend to put shit on Keef. A lot of people tend to say that, Keef got warrants. It's warrants that stop Chief Keef from coming here. It's warrants and shit. Soon they see him in Chicago, he gonna get arrested. Trust me. Police wanted Chief Keef, they would have been got Keef. For Keef not to even come back out here, see the sightings of him, not to even hear any music with him on the features and shit, that's a little confusing. A lot of people say not only was it warrants, but they say he banned from Chicago. He banned. The police and the mayor banned him. That is fake. That's not real. That is fake. Now, don't get me wrong. They were locked in on him. When a lot of that violent shit happened, they didn't even allow him to perform in Chicago for Capo's funeral. You know what I'm saying? That was a no-no for them. So, don't get me wrong, it was a lot of that shit going on. We seen videos of people talking about how the police was following Chief Keef. Hip-hop police was all on him, all kind of shit like that, following his cars and shit like that. So, but I think a lot of that was minor. I think a lot of that played a part in Keef not wanting to come around. Police, warrants, all on him. But I think what really caused Keef not to come around, in my opinion, was Opps. He was one of the most targeted rappers of all time. When Chief Keef first came out, this guy was targeted by all the Opps. He was like the main trophy. Keef was like the main trophy. The hood celebrated him and people wanted to hurt him. Chief Keef was very targeted. It's a lot of people want to do something to Chief Keef. Not only was he targeted, his stepbrother was killed when Keef first started blowing up. He witnessed Capo come back to Chicago and lose his life. Now, Capo been living in Chicago, but Capo will leave and go out there with Keef and then come back to the grimy, to the trenches. He seen Capo lose his life. LHL. He seen Capo lose his life, okay? He seen Blood Money lose his life. And Blood Money actually lost his life on his family block, on the block where his family be at. Blood Money death is a little backdoorish. I actually had an opportunity to speak with Nutso, who told me he felt Blood Money death was a little weird too. I think Chief Keef witnessed a long time ago shit that kind of felt like the back door. Not saying that's what happened, but shit that felt like the back door. ChiefKeef been recognized that. You know, then ChiefKeef seen videos of like people in Oblock saying shit about him. T-Roy beefing with Main 4CG, which was under ChiefKeef at the time. So it felt weird with T-Roy beefing hard as hell with one of ChiefKeef friends. You know, T-Roy from the O. The beef that ChiefKeef got into with BossTop. The beef he got into it with LilDurk. Now remember, ChiefKeef always rapped about Lemron, Normal, and Oblock. Those are all blocks that Durk was used to be on. Durk affiliated with it. Which I mean, ChiefKeef smelled like that back door was open. Not saying that's what it is, but he smelled that. Then another thing, ChiefKeef signed a real record deal. Which means he was in the room with real people in the business. Not your homeboy who you made your manager because you just tried to give him an opportunity. Not a nigga who's in the hood who's a drug dealer trying to clean his money up. You know, he was in that with Interscope Records, okay? Which had real people in the business, which signed ChiefKeef to a multi-million-dollar deal. And then when they signed ChiefKeef to a deal, you know they gave him some good advice. What's one of the first things you think like Cohen told ChiefKeef when he signed them? Probably told him, keep him real quick. So you sign this deal, I need you to get you a crib and get the fuck up out of there. Let's get the fuck up out of there. And what Keef said, let's get the fuck up out of there. Keef moved. Soon he signed that deal. Everybody that he loved, they moved to California with him. He took Tato, he took Fredo Santana, he took Ball Out, and then a few more other people came with him, and that was it. ChiefKeef didn't do no features with nobody from these hoods. You don't see ChiefKeef on the feature of nobody song. Hell, ChiefKeef ain't do no features with nobody from 600 to nobody. ChiefKeef left, and only the niggas who left is the niggas he made it with, the niggas he hung with. Fredo came back a few times. We seen Blood Money come back, lost his life. Capo came back, lost his life. We didn't see the few of these guys come back, but they kind of be low-key with that shit now. I think ChiefKeef knew that he was a target. He knew about the Opps, and his own homies was acting like Opps. He seen T-Roy beefing with his artists. The shit happened with BossTop. LilDurk started beefing with him. He seen that video, the OTF twins, you know. He seen y'all saying y'all were going to beat him up, rob him, and shit like that. Even though y'all might have just been in the zone talking crazy and shit like that, he seen that video. It was on College Kid. It got 1 million views. Pretty sure Keef seen it. Keef knew about the back door before anybody knew about the back door, because Keef was going through that shit before Durk was going through that shit, before anybody was going through that shit. Keef was going through that shit. I think the reason Keef don't come back to Chicago no more, because where the fuck would he come to? His hood felt a little weird. It was a little wishy-washy. I think they got love for Keef, but I think in Keef's head, he felt a little wishy-washy. He seen what happened to these guys. Keef knew that something could probably happen to him. He was targeted. If it ain't the cops, if it ain't the ops, if it ain't his homeboys, it might be a crazy-ass fan. It was no need for Keef to come back around. Once he got that record deal, started getting around them people who've been in the businesses and people who've been around artists who done lost their life, know about them being in the hood, they gave ChiefKeef some advice to get the fuck out the hood. Think about it. All the people who knew the fuck out the hood is people who had those real deals, who had those real people around them. G Herbo and them got the fuck out the hood. Lil Bibby and them got the fuck out the hood. These guys had, like, real deals, real people around them. They probably gave them some advice. I think street shit keep a lot of these guys in the hood. But that's my opinion. I could be wrong. You know, I don't think nobody ran Keef away. I think Keef knew about them keys, in my opinion. I think Keef heard those keys shaking a long time ago in his ear. He heard them keys shaking, and he knew that that back door can be open. I think ChiefKeef saved his life by moving out of the city of Chicago. Let's be honest. What the fuck happened to ChiefKeef if he was still living in Chicago? If he was still in the O? Let's just be honest, man. You know, the man's super big. He's super famous. Everybody will know his car. Let's be honest. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's the homie Truth Teller Street Report.